I don't think that it went down 22 points solely because you had this run. Now, we do need to look and see if you've only had it done once, which I didn't get from her. If it was only done once, if it was done with, a couple other different places, if it was past that 14-day window that I always warn you guys about. If you're looking for a mortgage or if you're looking for a vehicle, then you can have your credit run several times within a 14-day span, and it'll only count against you as one. So I wasn't able to say definitively why it went down 22 points, but here's what I wanted her to look out for. I was asking, where did you get your score from originally? So if you originally got your score from, Credit Sesame, Credit Karma, or even from Discover, something of that nature, if you got your score from them initially and you just got the one score, then that's the one that you're basing everything off of. So let's say you got your score from Experian, and then you look and you see your Experian is down, 22 points. It's not necessarily the case, necessarily, because when you go to apply for a mortgage, it is mortgage specific. Your credit score is mortgage specific. So the regular FICO score that you get and you see is not necessarily going to match because you're looking for a mortgage. So they're looking at some different things to determine what your credit worthiness is. So that score that you got, whatever that score was, let's just say it was 722 to make the math easy. That score was 722, and now you have a 700. You're thinking it went down that amount. But your mortgage score, quote unquote, could have been 700 all along, and you didn't lose those particular points. So you got to kind of wait and let it wash out. You might need to wait 30 days before you see that, or just do that investigation. If you got it from, not the official place to get your credit report, like your credit score. So if you didn't go directly to Experian and buy your credit score from them, then you got one number. But then when you go into your mortgage lender, your bank, your credit union, wherever you go, they're going to give you a number. You're looking for a mortgage. It's mortgage specific. Same thing about a car. So I remember, I think my credit score was 822. I think maybe, with one of them, it was 847. And so, but I went in to buy my car, and it's car specific. They pulled a TransUnion credit report on me. When they pulled that TransUnion credit report on me, my actual car score was actually 795. So it was different. It was widely different, if you will. But that's what it was for my car score, because that was specific to that. So I hope that helped you out, Alicia. I emailed you back a couple of times, so hopefully that helped you out. And thank you very much for contacting me too. I truly, truly appreciate it. All right, so let me get to this one. I want to skip one of these questions, and I'll come back to this other one toward the end of the show. So this one is from Justin. Justin is from Texas. He emailed me as well. I think he emailed me at the old email address, which is fine too, 800creditscoreman@gmail.com. 800creditscoreman@gmail.com. So what Justin said out of Texas said, he has two small collections that he's already paid them. This is one of the ones that I thought everybody might want to hear about. He's got two small collections. He's already paid them, but how can he get them removed? So if you've been listening at all to the 800 Credit Score Man show for some time, you know that I always say make that deal up front. One, we're going to negotiate for how much you actually owe them. I don't care if it's $80 that they say you owe them. You call them, offer them $25. That's just going to save you money, put money in your pocket. You can use that gas money. You can go ahead and take that money and go on out to, Red Lobster, Chili's, wherever little place you like to go. You can use that money instead of giving them all that money. So whatever it is. So you want to do that first. You want to make the negotiation on how much money you're going to pay them. And within that negotiation, you also want to make sure that they are going to agree to remove it from your credit report, because it does no good for your credit score if you pay a collection, but it stays on your credit report, even though it shows zero. I have to repeat this 100 times because people think if I pay my collection, then that's going to help my credit score. Eventually, I guess it'll help your credit score. The older it gets, the less impact it has on your score overall anyway. So eventually, yes, it'll help your credit score. But if you want that immediate impact, you're trying to buy a home in 6 months, you need to raise your credit score. What you need to do is to get those collections taken off of your credit report. So when you talk to whoever you owe, so Justin had two small collections. He called to one place, said, hey, how much I owe you? He paid it or whatever it is. Did the same thing with the second one, but he didn't make a deal to get them to pull it off his credit report. Some places will even tell you, we can't do that, or we won't do that. They won't pull it off your credit report. There's things around that as well. But you got to make that deal up front. So since he didn't make that deal up front, he's wondering what can he do now? Well, the first thing he can do is he can always call back, especially if he talked to somebody that, he thought was genuine, thought was a nice person or whatever. He still has their extension number and their name, what have you. You can go ahead and give them a call back, talk to them, and see if they can remove it from this credit report. Oftentimes for them, it's not a big whoop. All it is a press of a button for them, and it can come off of your credit report. So we can call them and do that. If he doesn't get satisfaction from that, then the next thing you can do is to go ahead and you can file a dispute. You can always file a dispute on it saying you don't owe them any money, which is not a lie. You don't owe them any money. You already paid them. So you can file a dispute as well. Now, one of the important parts of what he said is that they were small collections. So a small collection might be really good for you because the credit companies, so any company that's collecting on you or whoever you have an account with, they pay money for all of the things that they do. All of their transactions, they pay money. So a collection agency is going to pay money just to respond back to that dispute. So oftentimes, if it's a small amount, the collection agency decides, well, we're not going to respond because we don't want to give up $10, $20, $30, whatever it is that they have to pay. They don't want to give that money up. He said small collection. So what if the collection was only $90? So if it was $90 and then he files a dispute with Experian, with TransUnion, and with Equifax, then, and let's say they had to pay $30 a piece, then that's 30 times 3, that's $90. All they collected from him was $90. So then they're losing money. So sometimes they decide not to respond at all. They'll have 30 days to do so if you do it online, 35 days if you actually send in a letter. And so if they don't respond, it's going to come off your credit report. That's going to help boost your score. So that's what you can do, Justin. You can go ahead and give them a call, see if they'll help you out. If they don't, then you want to go ahead and you want to file a dispute, try to get that off of your credit report. That's the way you're going to help your credit score go up. Now, you guys do know or should know that by now that if it's medical in nature, you can decide to go through all of that if you want to about getting it off your credit report and whatnot. But if it's medical in nature and your whole point, purpose, and goal is to get things off of your credit report your goal is to raise your credit score, with it being medical, all you have to do is pay it, and it shows a zero balance. Even if you settled it, it shows a zero balance. They're no longer going to count it against you, and that basically happens right away. So next time it updates. No, it's not going to be same day, next week, what have you. It'll be the next time it updates. If it's medical in nature and medical in nature only, it'll be able to help you out that way. So thank you so very much. I appreciate it. All right, y'all. As y'all can tell, I got guests that walk up in the studio. So look, we up in the studio, had a little guest pop in right quick. So had to take a pause for the calls right quick. So look, I hope that answers your question. I thought this was a question that other people might want to know because they've already went and paid their collections because they thought, hey, I'm ready to get my credit together, and they just think it makes sense. If I pay it, it's going to help me with my credit score. If I pay it, it's going to come off my credit report because now I don't owe it anymore, and that's simply not the case. So sometimes that's what we do without looking and researching prior to. So now hopefully Justin out of Texas, this helps you out, and it helps other people as well on what you could do to try to get it done after you've already went ahead and paid that collection. All right. So look, this is going to be the last question. I got one more shout out, I think. I got one more shout out before I get. Oh yeah, Darnita Steens. Happy birthday. She celebrated her birthday yesterday. So Darnita Steens, happy birthday to you as well. All right. So this last question that I have for you guys. So this question came from Brandon. Brandon is out of Indiana. This is not the Brandon that always contacts us and always has a question for us. This is a different Brandon. So Brandon out of Indiana, and he says, what's the minimum score I need to buy a home? So I've got this question not only from Brandon, I actually got it from 3 or 4 other people about the same thing. So I credited Brandon because we had the most extensive conversation back and forth. So um, here's what I tell you about you getting a mortgage and what your minimum score should be. And we talked about this just a few weeks ago as well. So you can get a mortgage. You can actually get a mortgage at a 580 score. The question is, do you want a mortgage at a 580 score? Do you want to pay that high interest rate? If you get a score of, if you have a score of 580. So there's certain programs that will allow you to go ahead and get your mortgage if you have a 580. That shouldn't be your goal. It just simply shouldn't be your goal. If you have a 480 now, if you got a 520 and you're like, oh, I can push it and I can get to that 580 and get me a home, you need to aim a little higher. First of all, your credit scores fluctuate all the time. And when it comes to a mortgage, they're going to look at all three credit bureaus. So some are slower than others to getting up to speed. Maybe something stuck on one, you can't get it off, so you don't have that score where it needs to be. So they're going to look at all three of them. So you want to aim a lot higher. Now 640 used to be like the magic number. That's where you need to be. If you were under 640, there was nothing they can do for you. And recently, not even recent anymore, probably a year ago now, they bumped down to 580. So you can do it at 580 as well. But 640 is, I would say, the minimum you want to shoot for. Because even if something happens with your credit score and it fluctuates in the time that you're looking for your home and before you close and all of those things, if something were to happen, then at least you're still within that window where you can get it done. Your interest rate is going to be reflective of that. Even at 640, your interest rate is going to be reflective of that. You're going to have a much higher interest rate than somebody with a 700, than somebody with a 720. And of course, with somebody with a 750, you're going to have a much higher interest rate. And when it comes to mortgages, much higher isn't like, okay, not like a car. Like some people can get a car loan at 3%. Other people are getting car loans at 23%. It's not like that when it comes to a mortgage. But if the average score for average interest rate for somebody that is, let's say, have an excellent credit score, if that's 4% right now, and I don't know what it is right now, but if let's say it's 4%, then if you've got a 640 or a 580, you might have to pay 6.5%. You might have to pay 6%. Now, you're buying a $200,000 home. That's a big difference. That's a lot of money. It's a whole lot of money at the end of the day. So you want to make sure that you get your credit together prior to you going in and putting in that first mortgage application. You got to get your credit together first. If you're thinking about buying a home, if you're just thinking about it, like you had a dream about it last night, and you're like, I'm getting out of this apartment, I'm getting out of my mama's basement, and I'm going to buy me a home, then that's when you need to start working on your credit. That's the first thing you want to do. First thing is not to get on Trulia. The first thing is not to call up your cousin that's a real estate agent. That's not the first thing to do. You certainly don't call a bank and put in an application. The first thing you want to do is look at your credit. Find it wherever you want to look at it at. Whether you go to www.annualcreditreport.com or if you go to one of the credit sesames or wherever you go. But you need to go ahead and get that credit report and start working on your credit first. You want to clear up all the things that might be an issue for you. And if there's an issue and you're able to clear them up, obviously your credit score is going to start rising. Your credit score rises, your interest rate falls. So that's what you want to do. Those are the kinds of things that you want to do first when you're thinking about buying a home. If you're already in the process, you're in the process right now, you're looking at homes, you haven't contacted a mortgage lender yet, or even if you have, you can call me. I'll tell you all about the mortgage industry and what they're looking for, things that they've done or not done. I used to do mortgage loans, and I used to be an underwriter for mortgages, so I'm well versed in how that whole thing goes, and I bought too many houses to even mention. So give me a call. I'll try to help you out as much as I can. You can call me, 312-600-5855, 312-600-5855, and you can always email me, of course, 800@creditscoreman.com. All right, you guys, so look, before you start doing anything, like I said, before you do anything at all, you want to make sure that you look at your credit and look and see if there's anything on there. Now, if you're in the process as well, let me warn you of this. If you're in the process already, buying a home or whatever, and you have an account out there that you're just hoping and wishing and praying that it doesn't hit your credit report before you close, you need to contact